Hello and welcome back to BeamNG Drive. I'm davidinark, and today we are back in Crash Every Vehicle that comes with BeamNG Drive. Today we're taking a look at the 90's Pessima, and we can see there are 21 vehicles we've got for you today. We're going to start with the unpalatable. That's right, we're going to drop in these vehicles. And we are here in grid map 2, and what we're going to do, what the heck? It's like the Turbo Burger, but hand painted. Oh, that is interesting. Oh, and slamming the vehicle into the bollards. Look at that. That is just not going anywhere. The front end is crumpled up. The wheels are pushed out away from each other. Probably going to see a lot of that, but because of the reinforced bars inside the vehicle, and technically up outside the vehicle and over the vehicle, the driver compartment seems to be in pretty good shape. Not bad at all for our first foray into this vehicle. If you're not familiar with the series, what I'm doing is I am jumping in here and we are grabbing each one of the Pessimas that come with the game, and we will spawn them in and run them down the course and crash them into the bollards at the end of the line. Right now, the Turbo Burger, ready for some turbo delivery. Let's see, how fast can it go before it crashes? About 60 miles an hour, and look at that. Absolutely wrapped itself around that pole. As a matter of fact, even pulled a little, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, David Blaine, David Copperfield, name your favorite magician, and passed that thing right through the front of the car. How do they do that? Oh, it's magic. Yeah. Oh, look, the engine is finally stalling out. Yeah, you would think. That is not good. And yet, as I like to say on here, it is a beautiful thing. All right, here we go. Jumping into the next Pessima, we've got the 1.8 DXA, which is automatic. You're going to see several vehicles that may appear more than once. That's because there is an A for an automatic version and an M for manual version. And that has to do with the transmission that is in the vehicle. Look at this. Yep. Looking all 90s family car for sure. Heading down the road in the DX. Slamming into the pole once again. The pole passing through the front end. In the meantime, let's jump into the driver's seat. And things are definitely bent out of shape. But overall, that's actually not too shabby sitting in the driver's seat. I don't believe we have moved much, and as a matter of fact, what we'll do is we will come in here and let's grab the next Pessima, and we will sit in the driver's seat here. Yeah, look at that. I mean, I don't believe we had much damage to the actual driver compartment. Now here we go. Ah, man, I was hoping the gear shift would move. I mean, we're in a stick. Oh, yeah, we are getting slammed a little bit. We do actually move a hair closer to the steering wheel than I originally realized. And stepping outside, of course. Now, this time, we did not pass through. And look at that. The vehicle bent around the pole. And that's not just, I mean, that's not just the vehicle looking that way. You know what I mean? That's not a cosmetic thing. That is definitely a bent frame in action. Not to mention, we've got a roof line that is now completely bowed up here. Although, interestingly enough, the door, although suffered some damage, doesn't actually look too bad. A little bit of denting on the door. I mean, yeah, the front end, I get it. Yeah, it's going to have to be, totaled out. Well, the roof line is That's pretty jacked up there, man. That's not good. No matter how you cut it, Dave, that's just not a good thing. So we're now moving on to the 2.0 LX. 2-liter engine, the luxury version. I suppose that's what LX is. I don't know. Or is that limited edition? I don't know. I have no idea what all the letters mean. I've never known. Oh, tried to squeeze through and just couldn't do it. Oh, look at that. Absolutely demolishing the front end, forcing that wheel to bow out like that. Not to mention, look what happened here. I mean, sure, the hubcap got bounced back there, but look at the tire itself being pushed up against that bar there, against that post. And here, we've definitely got some door damage with things bowing in and out. And then we've even got some chassis damage here, where we've got pieces and parts that have dropped out of the bottom. Not a good place to be if you're in a 2.0 LX automatic. Let's jump into the manual. I can't imagine. Well, I was going to say, I can't imagine having a stick shift 4-door family car, but actually, yeah, I can. Especially in the 90s. That was actually pretty normal now that I'm thinking about it. It's so weird to say now because, of course, manual transmissions in general are almost a thing of the past, except for high-end. I believe they still have manual transmissions in high-end sports cars, and I think like in the lowest of low vehicles, they have stick shifts still. I don't know. It's kind of a weird dichotomy. Now, I have to admit, I've not been shopping for a vehicle in quite a while, so that could be wrong. Let me know. Feel free to correct me. I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly comfortable in my ignorance. I'm only ignorant until I am educated otherwise, right? That's how that works. How about a taxi? Hey, taxi. Man, that brings back memories. I don't know if anybody out there either had a Commodore 64 or has played with a Commodore 64 or an emulator. Ooh, slamming into the post, wrapping itself around the pole and squeezing between poles 1 and 2. I'm going to call that 1 because why not? But there was a game called Space Taxi, one of my all-time favorite games. You were in this little spaceship. It was, of course, black and yellow, like a taxi cab, and you had to go from platform to platform and go pick up people and take them to the other place they wanted to go. Now, I know it sounds kind of lame and it sounds kind of basic, but you're talking about a Commodore 64 in the 80s, so everything was a little, compared to, especially like BeamNG, everything was a little basic. State police car. Here we are. Wait, actually, I'm in the wrong camera. There we go. You know what? Whoa. Now, let's do this fair. Let's get some lights flashing. There we go. If we're going to do the external cam, we need to do the external cam from the beginning. And come on. Man, will we ever get faster than 60? That's what I want to know. Are there any of these vehicles capable of hitting a higher speed before we crash them into the post? And that state trooper is going to be out of commission for some time to come. I love crashing cops in this game. Now, here we go. How about a 2.0 LX Sport? Now, remember, we had the 2.0 LX, and now we have the Sport. And you can see the difference. Cooler rims, and we have a... There we go. We've got... yes, we've got a little spoiler on the back. And I guess slightly different ground effects. Because that's what being sporty is all about. Let's get down here. Oh, wait. Oh, we also have 67 miles an hour. Oh, look at there. That's not good. Front end, oh, just waving in the wind. How you doing? How's it going? Look at the passenger door. Now here we are definitely seeing some serious damage on this passenger door. Not only is the roof line bent up out of shape, but the door itself is also definitely bent, definitely along the roof line. But then also look where you would open the door, where that column meets that middle section there, right? The door column meeting the body column, and things not looking good. Oh, man. Ouch. We're not done yet. Not by a long shot. We've got another 2.0 LX Sport. This one is the manual transmission. So, pop the clutch and let's get driving. Let's see. Can we thread between poles 2 and 3? No, we can't. I knew we couldn't, but it was just the abruptness of it all. Just, oh, and look at that. Headlights sticking out. The front grille fascia just completely separated there. However, the wheel on the passenger side is still hoofing quite a long... Oh, well, and now it's gone. It has come to an abrupt stop in BeamNG. We're on grid map 2.0, by the way, in case you weren't sure what map I'm using for this adventure today. Oh, we're bumping up to a 2.7 LX. We are starting to get a little fancier, slightly bigger engines. Ooh, look at there. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Here we go. Whoops, I'm a little off center. That's okay. In this game, it's not about being on center. It's about doing the damage. And here the pole ended up in the engine, through the bodywork, sitting behind the radiator fans. I don't know how the physics works in this game. I'm just going to throw that out there, because some things make perfect sense and other things tend to make no sense at all. It's just the way it is. And look at that hood, the bonnet, if you will, for my friends across the pond. That thing is ugly. Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. Oh man, I love this game. All right, here we go. Oh, by the way, the 2.7 LX V6 automatic that we just did, you notice that as soon as I went to the Pessimas, that one is already lit up orange. That's not because it's the last one we used. The orange one indicates the one that the game has set by default whenever you go into a particular vehicle. So doesn't really matter necessarily, other than if you jump into Pessima and you tell it to either spawn a new one or replace the current one, and you don't select one, then that'll be the one that is chosen for you. Now you know, in case you didn't before. If I just keep spinning around, how sick is that going to make you? You guys are like, this dude is losing his mind. Oh, there we go. We've got some nice damage along. Oh, sorry, I'm not trying to do that intentionally. I'm trying to zoom in slowly. Look at that. We've got some serious damage going there on the driver's door, where it is bowed out at the bottom. Don't see that very often without it also being bowed up at the top. But you know, pretty much from the bodywork up on that door seems to be pretty well intact. Okay, granted, other than the fact that the wheel has been shoved back, well, really, an entire wheel length. Wow. And then, of course, we have the passenger side. The roof line is all messed up. The door is all messed up. Well, look, everything on that side of the car is all messed up. Oh, but we also do have the body bent down and away from that passenger compartment. And as we have seen with several vehicles in the game, that mimics those safety crumple zones that are prevalent. They're definitely prevalent in today's vehicles. but I want to say, and I'm probably wrong again, feel free to correct me, but I want to say those kind of started to really catch on, I want to say probably in the 80s, and then they just kept getting refined through the 90s into the 2000s up to today, of course. Always talking about safety and how to make vehicles safer for when two vehicles collide. Excuse me. Up to the 2.7 LX V6 Sport. So now we've jammed a V6 engine in here, and this should get us a pretty decent speed, I would imagine. Well, let's see. Can we get faster than, I think about 70 is where we were. Oh, about 71, 70. So we've kind of seen that. Oh, except look at this. This time, because of the way it hit that center post and jacked the body, well, really just it kind of picked up and moved the car all the way around. This first post resting up to and really kind of inside that passenger compartment. Not to mention, look what we've got going here with the front driver door and the rear passenger door on that side, and it threw the light at us while we were trying to talk about the damage it suffered. Guess it didn't like that too much. Well, you know what, buddy? There's more coming. Here we are. Yep, that's right. The LX V6 Sport manual transmission. Probably going to see very similar results to the vehicle that we just had. That's okay, because this is what we are all about. There we go. Oh, once again, I thought I hit that pretty well centered, but it pushed itself around. And so I think the engine kind of helped with that. So really, it's the engine's fault that the vehicle pivots out to the side, rams into this other post over here, and again, very similar damage to the previous vehicle. Now, let's see what we've got next. Whoa, the stanced version. Ooh, it's stanced. I want to check the performance here. Let's just see. What do we have under the hood, right? 0 to 60 in 7.4. 180 horsepower. All right. We'll see what happens. And of course, it is slammed into, well, not quite into the ground, but certainly slammed into the tires. I'm not a fan of this at all. Sorry, I know that is going against very popular beliefs right now. It's the popular trend to slam down your vehicle. Oh, yeah. That's what I'd like to see done to all of these slammed cars, man. Just not my thing. And it's not even, I'm going to throw this out there. It's not even that I'm, this old guy and you just don't get it. Listen, cars have been slammed for decades, man. This is not a new thing. And I didn't care for it then. Don't really care for it now. I'll tell you what I don't know if it's, I don't know why. Okay. I don't have a reason, but I'll tell you what I prefer. I prefer a vehicle that has sort of a regular suspension for the front end, and then the back end is actually jacked up a little bit, so you kind of get that raised up look to the vehicle. And that, I don't know, I guess it's because I grew up in that era of, jacking up your, now 57 Chevys are before my time, but by the time I came around, that they were the highly sought after cars to soup up. For my time, it was things like taking ye old Novas and doing that kind of thing. So where you have the front end is pretty much regular suspension, but back here you'd put different brackets and raise up the back end so that you had that kind of nice angle to the vehicle. I don't know why. It is what it is. In the meantime, we've got Pessima LX cruising through here, and about 68 miles an hour into the post. Much like we've seen before, that engine cocked out to the side because that post shoving it out of the way. You'll have to forgive me. Somehow I grabbed the hiccups while we were doing this. Look at the front end. Look at the wheels. That is just nasty. Jumping back in. The Detective Special. I don't know what's so special. What do you, Moy? What makes you so special? Ah, that right there. So cool. Okay, now, we do have the bull bar on the front. So I'm very curious to see how the bull bar reacts to this post. Well, it made almost no difference other than we do see a little bit of air. There's a little separation between the vehicle and that outside post. But outside of that, I mean, the damage is what the damage is. Look at that, just moving, hoping for its last vestiges of life. Not coming, my friend. You're going down. It's the end of the road. So, how many more do we have? Let's take a look. We've got 4 more vehicles to go. And now we really are getting into some of the vehicles that are probably going to provide the highest speeds and the highest crash damage that we have seen. Look at this street-tuned bad boy. Now, I know I just talked about how I don't like slammed vehicles, but I have to say, that is slick. Oh, yeah. A nice big wing on the back. Let's see if we can get some speed going. Come on. There we go. How about 78 miles an hour? And this time, that post is nearly into that passenger compartment. And I'm going to jump in the driver's seat because look at this. I mean, that steering wheel is jammed straight up in us. The dashboard is completely bent due to where that post is. Oh, that is just... Look at that. Both wheels turned in. This one's turned in perpendicular to the vehicle itself. This one towed in enough. That is just painful. I will say, though, throughout this entire series of Pessimas, the rear passengers, the trunk, the rear end have not had to absorb any of, or I guess maybe it perfectly absorbed the damage from the front end. Whatever's happening up here, all of that energy is being transferred away from the back end of the vehicle. Basically, by the time all of that starts to get here, you can even see you got bowing down here, you got the doors messed up, but really by the time it gets here, I don't think the vehicle is seeing too much. Now, I could be wrong. There's some weird stuff going here, but that may be more a product of the pole and what's happening with all the different pieces and parts being wrapped up here than it does anything else. I don't know. It's very interesting to watch. This is one of the things that I love about doing these types of situations where we're taking these vehicles and slamming them into an immovable object to, I don't really assess the damage and see what happens when you do that to a vehicle. I mean, look at that. As soon as we hit, that immediately breaks that front end. Those half shafts shattered. The wheel well, the wheels shoved back, which that's kind of interesting. That's interesting that got shoved back that way. I guess based pretty much on hitting this post right here. Now this time we do have a roll cage inside. And with a roll cage inside, you can see that we are still seated pretty comfortably as far as a driver position is concerned. So, moral of the story, and as we have seen time and time again in this series, roll cages, ding, they're good. Good for helping survive, at least theoretically, a crash. And look at this bad boy. It's weird to see drag slicks on the front of the car. I mean, I realize it's front-wheel drive. That's just weird. All right, now, I'm also not very good with driving a drag vehicle. So we will see. This is drag, right? Or is this drift? 100 miles an hour. Oh, my gosh. Look, there's the front end of the vehicle. There's a problem with your with your half shafts. Yeah, they would be laying outside the vehicle next to the passenger. Now, this time we do definitely have damage to the rear passenger compartment, or what would be if this wasn't, you know, a vehicle, a single seater. But oh, that is, look at that. How crazy is that wheel sticking halfway through the door into the driver compartment? You have the engine busting through the roof. I mean, through the hood. Sorry. Huh. Man, that's crazy. Okay, so what was that? Was that drag? Yeah, okay. It was drag. All right. I guess we didn't have a drift version. I'm surprised there's not a drift version of this car. All right. Finally, and last but not least, we have the touring version with the sequential. Oh, look at that. Oh, man. This is nice. I like that a lot. Whoops. Almost missed it. I did not see how fast we were going because I looked up and realized we were about to miss the post. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. Look at that. We got the signature bowing out of the front quarter panel. We've seen that on a whole lot of vehicles during this series. That is just so cool. Okay, we are going about 85. Ooh, yeah. And again, this time it's on the other side. The front quarter panel bowed out there, but that's just because of how I hit that post. Again, we have a roll cage, and that has definitely absorbed a bunch of the damage, so that as the driver, we're actually not in bad shape, although you can see the steering wheel has been shifted to the left. And of course the whole dash is warped, which is probably part of the reason why the steering wheel is the way it is. So lots of damage. However, we're okay, as Woody would say. So there you go. All right, we'll throw this bad boy into external view as we put the pedal to the metal and head off into the sunset. Yeah. Awesome. There you go. Hey, that is crashing every 90s Pessima that comes with BeamNG Drive. Thank you so much for watching. Special thanks to Hero of God, GamerGull, LosWilko, Connie C, and Zachary for supporting the channel on Patreon and through channel memberships. I appreciate that, guys, so much. Hey, thank you so much for watching. I love that you are coming by, checking out the video, leaving comments down below. I'm loving the comments that you guys are leaving on this particular series. If I've done the math right, I believe this wraps up the series. If you've missed that, there's a playlist of them. You can check that out. But also, in the early episodes, I did multiple vehicles in one video, and then I started separating them out. So if you don't see your favorite vehicle listed by itself, there's a good chance it was packed in with one of those multi-vehicle videos. If there's one I missed, please let me know, because this was a long road to hoe. Yeah. I'm davidinark. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time in BeamNG Drive. Have a great day.